A very good morning, students. I'm Manpreet Kaur, your SST teacher. As you know that from now, every Saturday you are going to see revision video regarding the topics that you have covered this week. So today we are going to revise Unit 5 of SST. So before starting the revision, I want you all to open your NCRT books, supplementary books, and have a pen and pencil with you. So, without wasting much time, let's start the revision. So, students, today we are going to revise Unit 5 and we will be revising Chapter 7 of the unit. Here, Chapter 7 is Human Environment, Settlement, Transport, and Communication. In this chapter, we will learn about the different ways in which humans adapt themselves to their natural environment. Now, what we will study today? We will start with the first element of human environment in today's class, that is housing. We will learn about the factors that influence how humans choose a place for building houses and the various types of human settlements. Now, what are settlements? So, now let us discuss what do you mean by settlement. A settlement is a place, typically one which was previously uninhabited, where people build homes, settle down, and establish communities. For example, a village and a city. Now, factors influencing settlement. To choose a place to settle down, early farmers and herders might have considered the following two most important factors, that is, availability of water and availability of land for farming and grazing. But there is one more important factor for settlement, that is water. Out of these things, availability of water has perhaps been one of the most important factors influencing human settlement. The Indus Valley civilization is an example of one such settlement. As a consequence, most of the oldest civilizations developed around rivers and were even named after the rivers. Now, factors influencing settlement. Even today, the conditions that people took for while choosing a place to establish settlement include availability of water, favorable climate, suitable land, and fertile soil. Now, let us learn more about these in detail. Availability of water. Now, water is essential for human survival and is needed for agriculture. Therefore, humans prefer to settle in areas where water is available easily and abundantly, rather than in dry areas. Favorable climate. Now, people prefer living in places that are neither too hot or nor too cold, but have a moderate climate. This allows people to grow food and live comfortably. Now, suitable land. Now, people prefer living in places where the terrain is flat and even rather than in areas with uneven, rocky terrain. This is because it is easier to grow crops, build houses, and develop transport networks on flat surfaces. Now, fertile soil. Now, people need fertile soil to grow crops for food. Hence, people prefer living in areas that have fertile soil rather than areas where the soil is less fertile. Now, we have discussed the factor influencing the settlement. Now, we are going to discuss about the types of settlements. So, based on the duration of permanence, settlements can be divided into two types, that is, temporary settlement and permanent settlement. Now, temporary settlements is occupied for short duration of time as it is suggested by the name, whereas the permanent settlements are built by people to settle down for long duration of time. Temporary settlements are built by people living in forests, hot and cold deserts and mountains. And the permanent settlements are built by the people living in villages, towns or cities. Now, based on their location, settlements can also be divided into two types, that is rural settlement and urban settlement. Now, rural settlements include villages where people practice agriculture, trading, fishing, craft works, and forestry. Whereas in urban settlement, people include towns and cities where people were engaged in manufacturing, trading, and services. Now they can be compact and scattered settlement, and whereas on the other hand, urban settlements they are usually compact settlements. Now, do you know what compact and scattered settlements are? Let us find out. Now, compact means settlements where houses are built close to each other, whereas scattered means settlements where houses are spread over a large area. Now, let us again differentiate between rural settlement and urban settlement. Here, local materials like stones, mud, clay, and straw are used to construct houses, whereas in urban settlement, houses are made of bricks, cement, glass. They are usually built as per a plan. And houses in rural settlement are made to suit the local environment. For example, areas with heavy rainfall have slanting roofs, whereas hot or dry areas have thick mud walled houses and thatched roofs. And the urban settlement houses are usually of the same type, includes tall buildings. So till now we have read about the settlements based on duration. These are temporary and permanent based on the location, that is rural and urban. Rural is again divided into compact and scattered, and urban that is usually compact. Now we are going to discuss about the variation in natural vegetation. Now we see many different types of natural vegetation around us, such as grasslands, bushes and shrubs and tall trees. Now you may have noticed that the vegetation around us from one place to changes from one place to another. So, these changes are based on the climate and topography. The places that we see in the images below are different types of geographical region, that is mountain, desert and forest. So, what are the causes and effect of these climate and topography? Now, climate variation in climate and topography results in variation in natural vegetation. Let us understand the factors of climate and topography and their effect on vegetation. So, the diversity of vegetation depends on the two elements, that is climate and topography, and the climate is dependent on temperature and rainfall, and the topography includes soil and terrain. Now, let us discuss about the temperature. The temperature of a place affects the thickness and the type of vegetation found there. For example, the types of plants near a warm beach and those on snowy mountains differ. For example, in beach you will usually find coconut trees and on mountains you will find pine trees. Rainfall. Now, since plants need water to survive, differences in the amount of rainfall received by places lead to difference in vegetation. For example, areas with high rainfall have leafy trees, but dry regions have thorny cacti. Now we are going to discuss about topography, that is soil. The plants absorb water and nutrients from the soil. Different types of soil support different types of vegetation. For example, areas with fertile soil tend to have thick forest with tall trees, whereas areas with less fertile soil mostly have grasses and shrubs. Now we will discuss about the terrain. Now terrain refers to the natural features of land like its slope. Terrain affects the kind of vegetation that grows in a place. For example, a place with rushed rocky terrain will have different vegetation from a place with flat marshy land. Now adaptations of vegetation. Now, vegetation adapts to the climate condition and topography of a place. For example, plants like cacti that grow in deserts have adapted their leaves into thorns to prevent loss of water. And now we are going to discuss about the classification of vegetation. Now, based on how vegetation adapts to climate condition and topography of a place, it can be classified into three main categories, that is forest, grassland and shrubs. Now, diversity in fauna, that is wildlife. Now, the climate, topography, and vegetation lead to diversity in the wildlife of an area too. For example, animals like polar bears are found in the tundra vegetation of polar regions, have thick fur and skin to protect themselves from cold climatic conditions of the regions. In hot deserts, animals like camels can survive without water for long duration. Now we are going to discuss about the next chapter, that is means of transport. Now people used to take days to travel from one city to another in early times. But with the time evolution of transport occurs and transport became the system or means by which people and goods are moved from one place to another. Earlier, in around 2000 BC, people used to walk and cover the distance and use the animals for transport or boats for transport. But with the invention of wheel, cars, carriages, trains, all these evaluate and helped in the transportation system. Today we are having self-driving cars which do not need any driver in the car. Now let us discuss about the common means of transport, that is roadways, railways, waterways and airways. Now let us discuss about the roadways. Now it is the oldest mode of transport for short distance. The roads may be metalled pakka roads, that is paved with tar or concrete, or unmetalled kacha road, that is made of mud and dirt. There are also underground roads or subway tunnels that you can see in the big cities. Then there are flyovers, bridges, and India is having the third largest road network in the world. Trains use, now we are going to discuss about the railways. The railways uses tracks for moving and it is best suited for long distance. Today we are having maglev trains that just flow above the tracks and can travel at 600 km per hour. The Indian railway system is the third largest in the world, second to the USA and China. About 8,000 8,800 trips, crore trips, or we can say 800 crore trips are undertaken every year using the Indian railways. Then transport have evolved from wheel to the advanced hyperloop trains. Now we are going to discuss about the third type of transportation, that is waterways. Now it is one of the oldest means of transport. It has been known to be used by early civilizations like ancient Egyptians. It is also one of the cheapest means of transport for carrying heavy goods for long distance. Then it is of two type, that is inland waterways, that here navigable rivers and lakes within a country are used as inland waterways. Here you can see Great Lakes, North America, Nile, Africa, Ganga, Brahmaputra River in India. Then comes the sea routes. These include all the sea and oceanic routes of the world. They are mostly used for transporting merchandise and goods from one country to another. They are connected through the ports. For example, important seaports of the world are Los Angeles, New York, London, Cape Town, Durban, Mumbai, Singapore. Now, did you know that the English Channel separating England and the France is the busiest sea route in the world? So this question may be asked in 1 marks, busiest sea route in the world. Then comes the airways. It is the fastest means of transport. It is also known as the newest and it was developed only in the 20th century. It is the most expensive means of transport because of the high cost of fuel and expenses involved in settling up runways and airports. It is the only mode of transport to reach the most remote and the distant areas, especially where there are no roads and railways like mountains. Helicopters are extremely useful in times of calamities for rescuing people and distributing food, water, clothes and medicine. Important Airports in the world are shown as New York, London, Paris, Cairo, Frankfurt, Delhi, and Mumbai. So, students, this was all for the day. Next revision we will do on the next Saturday. So, till now, if you are having any query or any doubt in any concept, you can message me personally. I will be very thankful for you if you are seeing this video and analyzing your concept. I hope that all your concepts are clear. So thank you and have a nice day.